Podcast Network Asia.
You are listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast, where we feature timely and relevant discussions on the Philippine stock market and the economy in the hope of providing you investing and trading guidance. Here's your host.
How's it going, investors? Hi, I'm Anjz, an equity research associate from First Metro Securities, where I cover the consumer sector. In this episode of Market Bites, let me share with you our latest company update on Monde Nissin Corporation, or Monde, titled Strong Earnings Despite Challenges from Corn. Monde's 1H24 core net income rose 45.5% year-on-year to 5.1 billion pesos, in line with consensus in our estimates, largely driven by the APAC BFB business. Net sales rose 2.4% year-on-year to 40.1 billion pesos. By segment, APAC BFB delivered 3.9% year-on-year to 33.3 billion pesos, led by volume growth in noodles, up by 10% year-on-year. Meanwhile, corn continues to drag the top line, with sales lower by 4.2% year-on-year at 6.8 billion pesos, still owing to category weakness and a challenging UK retail market. Blended gross margins rose 420 bips at 34.7% on favorable costs of key raw materials. On some key takeaways, first, APAC BFB is a downtrading beneficiary, with noodles posting 10% volume growth year-on-year in 1H. In July, the Philippines business is tracking 10% year-on-year growth as per management. Second, corn challenges still remain. Not much improvement in top-line performance is expected amid sustained weakness in the meat alternatives category and UK retail markets. And third, gross margin gains are sustainable until year-end, with potential spillover into next year. For some critical data points to watch, first, on sales growth. Management is expecting mid-single-digit growth in both noodles and biscuits, while culinary products are projected to continue their double-digit growth. Meanwhile, continuing top-line challenges are seen for corn. Second, key raw materials prices are still trending lower year-on-year, and there could be opportunity to lock in favorable rates beyond 4Q24. Third, on EBIT margins. Targeted investments in A&P to drive volume growth, partially offset by stronger gross profit and cost control. And fourth, earnings volatility, owing to revaluation gains or losses relating to the meat alternative guarantee asset. We are maintaining our buy recommendation on Monde, with target price at 11.20 pesos. This is pegged to 18.5 times PE on FY24F earnings and 17.9 times PE on FY25F earnings, at negative 0.5 standard deviation of historical mean, or 24.5 times. We expect Monde to sustain strong performance well into next year. This will be on account of the following. First, high APAC BFB margins for FY24 to 25F. Management has secured prices and supply for key input costs, wheat and palm oil, for the majority of this year. We anticipate margin upside next year, given the potential to secure even lower raw material prices, as spot rates continue to decline for key raw materials. Second, weakness in corn is close to bottoming out. The segment continues to be a drag, albeit EBIT has shown improvements year-on-year due to restructuring benefits, lower D&A on PPE write-off, and timing of A&P spend. Meanwhile, upside catalysts we're seeing are, first, faster than expected growth of APAC BFB with market share gains. Second, less uncertainty from corn, either through divestment or reacceleration of category growth. And third, another growth leg in the face of mature core segments under APAC BFB and demand softness for meat alternatives. Key risks to our call are intensifying competition, raw material price and forex volatility, supply chain disruption and capacity constraints, execution risks, especially in meat alternatives, food safety concerns and product mislabeling risks, and technological obsolescence. Again, that's a buy call for Monde at 11.20 pesos target price. And that's it for this episode of Market Bites. Hope this has been helpful.
Thanks for listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Don't forget to follow us to get first dibs on our new episodes. For more up-to-date market news and info, exclusive content, and the opportunity to connect with your fellow Filipino investors and traders, join facebook.com/groups/FirstMetroSec and be part of the FirstMetroSec family.
FirstMetroSec is providing this podcast as a general market commentary. Reference to any specific security, product, or entity do not constitute as an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any financial instruments or to participate in any particular trading strategy. The statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed by the hosts are subject to change without notice, and FirstMetroSec is under no obligation to update, amend, change, or correct any of the statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed. The statements, comments, views, and opinions expressed by the guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of FirstMetroSec. FirstMetroSec disclaims any liability arising from reliance on or reference to any information obtained in this podcast.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.